All right, let me see what happened. Now I done lost all my people. All right, let me see. Let me see. All right. Are y'all still on Instagram? Sorry, guys. All right, let me see. Hey, Stacy. I lost my Facebook people, so I'm trying to get this back. Wait a minute. We were right in the midst of some good stuff, so wait a minute. All right, is everybody coming back? I'm gonna give everybody a chance to come back to see where we picked up at. Hey, Andrew, thanks for coming back. My plug came out, so I have a tendency to keep moving, and my plug came out, so. Thank you, Miss Shakita, for coming back. My bad. I have to learn to stay still. Thank you, Miss Adrian. Let me see if I can tag the people that were on here. I don't know who else. All right. So basically, I'm trying to think who else was on here. They'll join. All right. So we were talking about the. Okay. Thank you, Stacy. All right. So we were talking. Okay. Thank you, Miss Candy. I appreciate it. So we were talking about the seasonal affective disorder, and I think you guys said that you had not heard of that. So what I was saying was that it's like really real. So it has a lot to do with the, less light. The time is changing. So now when it gets dark really, really early. So, the less light, people really get depressed. Like it's a real diagnosis, but it's more of a lot of, I'm not sure how much you guys know about diagnosis, but a lot of diagnoses are really due to chemical imbalances. Like that's why a lot of this stuff is genetic. It's in the genes. So it's almost like the hand that you're dealt, based on the hereditary traits. That's why it's very important that when you are in relationships and stuff like that, you kind of look at what's going on, because you need to find out what the family history is and what's going on, especially when it comes to kids, because it's genetics, and it's generational with the mental health and the mental illness. So, but I say that because the reason that I talked about the seasonal affective disorder is because when it comes to Thanksgiving, not only do you have the seasonal affective disorder, you have trauma, and you have all those things where, if a person is going through that, then, they have all of those things, and you're like, okay, well, you want them to express gratitude. Like, how would they do that? What would you do if that were you and you had all those things going on? How would you handle it? If you had to, if everybody wants you to go out and, you were dealing with all those different things. All right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how to shift the mindset. So if you're in a situation, and you know that, and that's one of the things I asked you guys to bring a mirror or something, because we're gonna try to do something, because sometimes you don't know what to say. Yes, I do still see you, Miss Angie. Sometimes you don't know what to say, or you're not sure when people have gone through different things or whatever it is. So let's talk. We're going to talk about it from two different angles today. So if you know that it's something that you're going through, or you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be abuse, but if you're going into a situation with a family member, and what if it's somebody you just know that you do not want to deal with, and you may shy away from going, or you just don't want to do it, you know? So one of the things that you can do is be aware, you know, acknowledge how you feel about it. Like, there is nothing wrong with acknowledging how you really feel about it, because sometimes we get into situations and we get stuck on going and doing because your mama said you're supposed to go here, and every Thanksgiving we go over Barbara Sue house, and we can't break that tradition, and we got to go to that house. Well, what about how you feel about the situation? Like, how does the situation make you feel? You know, what about what you feel and think about it? But the one thing that you have to think about when you're acknowledging it, how much of it are you making up or putting into it? It's almost like you have to separate the facts between the emotions. Like, what's factual? Because the emotions will pretty much rule you out every single time. Like, acknowledge what's real. Like, okay, this is how this makes me feel. What's going to happen in this situation? What can I control? And we're going to get to that next. You know, what's real about this situation? And I need to acknowledge how I truly, truly feel about this. Not how my mama feel, not how my daddy feel, not how my grandma felt when she was here, not how we all felt when we ate her sweet potato pie. No, how do I feel about this? You know, let me own how I feel about it. You know, that's how I accept this situation, based on how I feel about it, not everybody else's opinion. Andrew, you're not freezing. I can see you're fine. Number two is just accept that you're in control. Because so many times when it comes to holidays and stuff like that, we give everybody else control because we're so used to things happening that way. But ultimately, you're in control of your attitude, your thoughts, you know. And sometimes when those things get out of control, it's very, very frustrating, you know. And then it makes you feel like you're losing control. And then when you lose control, that's a whole nother issue. So if you acknowledge it and you accept that you can control only you can't control your mama, you can't control your daddy, you can't control your sister, you can't control anybody else. You can only control you once you acknowledge how you feel. So once you acknowledge how you feel and accept how you feel and who you are, you can't control anybody else. So now you can control your thoughts and your actions and what you think and feel about it. And that's just it. But if you start bringing everybody else into it, well, how my mama gonna feel and what they gonna think and what they gonna think if I don't come and what they gonna do and what they gonna say if I sit on this end of the table and what they gonna say if I don't eat this, and that's too much. You can only control what you can control and your attitude. Okay, this is what I think, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I feel about it. And that's it. Not everybody else, because once you start bringing everybody else in it, that's too much. Now you got your brain is, and I'm praying this on your brain is like schizophrenic. All of our brains are like schizophrenic, and what I mean by that is, like, your brain has different defense mechanisms based on your life experiences. So your brain has a protection mode, like it has a whole bunch of stuff going on. So every time you throw something out, it's going to try to protect you. It's going to try to, you know, keep you out of pain. It's going to keep you from being fearful. So every time you throw something out, it's got everything going all kinds of ways. So the more you give it, the more it's going to try to interact and protect you and do all kinds of things. So if you giving it what your mama say, what your daddy say, what your sister say, well, it's already on overload. So now you got a whole bunch of stuff going on in your brain where if If you just calm down and say, okay, this is what I want. Now your brain can talk to you and say, okay, well, do I need to defend and protect her from this? What do I need to do? Because one of the things, there's a type of therapy that you can do. That's a whole nother session. But you can talk to your brain about releasing you from trying to protect you. I'm not gonna get into that because that's some. But you ever watch people talking to themselves sometimes, or you ever talk to yourself and say, "No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it." That's how you have to talk to yourself or talk to your brain sometimes to allow you to do certain things. It probably doesn't sound right to you guys, but you really have to talk to your brain sometimes in order to move forward with certain things, because it'll block you from a lot of stuff because it's trying to protect you. It almost protects you from a lot. Like if you've been traumatized in a lot of different situations, your brain is going to protect you from moving to those situations. It has a mind of its own, literally, because it's going to protect you. You ever try to do something and a whole defense mechanism comes up? That's your brain protecting you. It's not going to let you keep going there because it keeps hurting you. It's almost like a shield. So you literally have to talk to your brain and be like, hey, I got this. Just let me take a step forward. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I got it. Let me take a step forward. I got this. Like, you literally have to talk to your brain like that. I know it sounds weird, but you have to talk to your brain like that to keep moving forward and keep taking steps forward, because it's going to automatically try to protect you. That's the job that it's supposed to do for you. So when you wonder sometimes when you can't move forward and you got all these defense mechanisms, that's your brain it's protecting you from all those other things, because your brain know exactly what has happened to you. And it's not going to keep letting you do that. It's immediately putting up all these walls so you won't do it. So you have to talk to your brain and say, hey, I got it. Let me just take one step further. You know, again, that's something totally different when you do a different type of treatment modality, but it's a lot that goes into it. But I say, so getting back to what I'm saying is that when you start putting everybody else's opinions and thoughts and emotions and all that kind of stuff in it, it's too much. It's too much. Now you got to worry about everybody else's stuff, and then you trying to figure out where are you in the equation. Now, mind you, you still got all of that on top of the trauma. So now you're just this big basket case, and now everybody can walk all over you and tell you what to do, because you really don't have a mind of your own. You haven't even accepted that you are in control. You're in control of you. No matter what somebody did to you, said to you, or whatever, you have the power. Like, you have to own your power. You have to be confident enough to know, I got this. And if I don't want to sit at this end of the table, and if I don't want their macaroni and cheese because it don't have enough cheese, and if I don't want their potato salad because it don't have enough potato, cool. You don't have to eat it because Betty Sue made it. You don't have to do any of those things if you don't want to. You are in control of your attitude. You're in control of your thoughts. And it's okay. But so many times we get so stuck on because of this and because of that. No. Accept. You acknowledge and accept it. And you move on. And then even in that, I think the hardest part, I know for me, it was releasing the guilt. Because so many times, and I can tell, y'all know if any of you guys can talk to me if you've been here, but so many times we get so caught up in the guilt. Oh my God, what is she gonna say if I don't do it? What is she gonna say if she don't if I don't eat it? What are they gonna say if I don't show up? You know, what are they gonna say if, you know what I mean? Anybody ever been in that situation? If I don't come, they gonna think I'm mad. You know, what they gonna think? What about what you think? At what point do you release the guilt in all of that and realize that you're in control of you? Because when you go in different situations and you know We're going back now. If you know that certain people or certain situations are traumatizing to you, what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing. I'm going to have some tea while y'all... This tea, see, I got the tea. What are you doing if you keep going back in that situation? Anybody on Instagram, what are you doing if you keep going back in that situation? You're re-traumatizing yourself. You re-traumatizing yourself over and over again if it's an uncomfortable situation. I don't know whether it is or not. Only you would know that. It may be a fine situation. I don't know. But only you will know if you're re-traumatizing yourself. Look, check your chest and your sweaty palms. How do you feel? A disservice to myself. Very not very good, Candy. You know, you're you know, check yourself. Are you having a panic attack? Can you breathe? Are your palms sweaty? You know, is it fight or flight? Are you ready to go? You know how you get to some places before you walk through the door, you're ready to go. I'm ready to go. Why'd you even go? Why'd you even go? So even after you do all of that, you have to make a choice, right? Even in all of that, right? And these different situations keep presenting themselves to you. Whatever the situations are, in those situations, they're life lessons. So in those situations, you have to finally choose if you want to find gratitude in them. So out of all of that stuff that we talked about, right? Certain situations, how many times have you been in situations, and let's just take Thanksgiving for instance. These situations have presented themselves over and over and over again every Thanksgiving. So, and I'm just saying Thanksgiving, but it can be anything. So, but they keep presenting themselves over and over and over again, and everything's Thanksgiving, you've done the same thing. Same thing. So at what point do you make any kind of change? And even in those life lessons, you have to determine whether you, in that lesson, have found anything to express gratitude in. Whether it be within yourself for making the right decision, accepting, acknowledging, owning, you know, changing your attitude. You know, that's how you find the gratitude. Your gratitude is not always in somebody else. So many times we'll express gratitude to everybody else. You know, oh, I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful you did this. I'm so thankful for this. What about you? What about you? Have you ever looked in the mirror and told yourself how thankful you are for you and the choices that you made? I am so glad that I acknowledged the fact, you know, that I know I'm upset about this situation, or I know how I feel about this situation. I know that this situation traumatized me. I know how I feel about this situation. I acknowledge how I feel about this situation. I know what kind of attitude I have about this situation, so here's what I'm going to do. But we can go out and express gratitude to everybody else, and it's probably fake half the time. Because normally sometimes you express gratitude, but what do you even know what makes you happy? We know 1,000 things that make everybody else happy, but if you turn it around and somebody asks you what makes you happy, you probably won't even know. Because we're so stuck on everybody else. Is anybody with me? Everybody quiet. Everybody with me? All right. So some of the things that you can do when during tough times, if you're having, you know, some issue with gratitude, you can put the gratitude on paper. Everybody talks about a gratitude journal. That's pretty common. But you can write down, like, when I think about gratitude, a lot of people think gratitude has to be something like really, really big. I think real small sometimes. Like, I'm listening to somebody on live right now, and the word of the month is, you know, being grateful for the small things. So I'm thankful. This morning I was ironing while I was listening. I was like, Lord, I'm so thankful for this iron. Where's my friend D? She on here. She probably not thankful for the iron because she don't iron. So I can't imagine her waking up every morning saying, Lord, I'm so thankful for the iron. But I'm very thankful for it, you know. But she doesn't iron, so she might be thankful for something else. But that's my small thing. You know, I'm thankful for hot water because I don't like cold water. So there's small things that you can find, be grateful for. It doesn't always have to be something big. Yes, I'm grateful for the big things too. But at what point, yes, D, really, but at what point do we understand that we can be grateful for the small things? Because if you can be grateful for the small things, imagine what big things are in store. It doesn't always have to be big. Those small things will add up. I'm thankful for socks and bedroom shoes. It's cold outside. Like, you ever think like that? I'm thankful for this headband. You know why? Because I want to do my hair. So I just push my hair back. It's the small things. So, and sometimes that's why it's hard for people to journal sometimes. Because they get there and they're like, okay, I don't know what to say. It's just get it out. It doesn't always have to be something big. And sometimes when people do that, it stops them from doing it because they're thinking so big. Whatever, D. They're thinking so big. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Just start small. You don't have to. You can write it on an envelope. You don't have to have a journal. Write on the envelope. I'm thankful for my TV. I'm thankful for my toothbrush. Like, start small, and before you know it, you'll have this big thing of things that you're thankful for. All right? Have a gratitude conversation with a coworker or a friend. Like, we're having one now. I just told you about my girlfriend. She probably not grateful for the iron. I am. She just said, I'm grateful for my BFF because y'all always iron for me when we're together. That's gratitude. Like, that's gratitude. She knows that when we come to her house or when we go places, we're going to iron for her. So that's small, but she already know it's going to be done. But that's one small thing. I'm sure you guys have friends that you're thankful for. I'm sure it's something that you can find, you know. Start a conversation. How many of you pick up the phone and be like, hey girl, how you doing? What you doing? Have you ever thought about calling somebody and say, girl, I'm just calling to say I'm so thankful for you. I'm so glad you answered this phone. How was your day today? I am so thankful I made it through this day. That's real simple. It doesn't have to be like the King James version of the Bible. You ever read that and be like, thou the what? Where is the NIV? Where? Somebody give me the new something, anything. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't. I'm thankful for all of these comments. I'm thankful for all of these people that took the time to log in on Instagram and Facebook. That's gratitude. Nobody's forcing me to do that. It's just that simple. And number 3, tell somebody you appreciate them. I appreciate you guys for logging on. That's gratitude. Everybody, if you can, put something in the chat. Just tell everybody on the chat you appreciate them for logging on tonight. We can start tonight. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, just say, I appreciate everybody that's logged on tonight. We can start there. You can pull a name out there or somebody and just say, hey, Miss Nikki, I appreciate you. Hey, Mr. Wanda, I appreciate. We can start there. It's just that simple. Just appreciate. Pay it forward. Find a way to show gratitude. One of the ways that I pay it forward is Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know where I saw this at a long time ago. I don't know if I got it from D. I don't know who I got it from. But every time I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I pay for the person behind me. Some days I'm like, are you sure they ordered $20? Because mine was only like 5 something. But I've made it up in my mind that I'm going to pay it forward every time I go to Dunkin' Donuts. Like every time. Because I really like their hot chocolate. But every single time I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I pay it forward. Every single time. Every single time. Thank you. Every single time I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I pay it forward. That's just something that I've made up in my mind to do. And I cannot remember what I was watching on TV. I don't know what I was watching, but somebody else was doing it, and I've been doing it ever since. That's just one thing that I've decided to do to pay it forward. What can you do to pay it forward? It doesn't even have to be money. If you live on the street and somebody need their garbage can, it can be real simple. If somebody in your neighborhood has a piece of paper in their yard, like, it doesn't have to be anything big. We get so caught up into gratitude or appreciation being something so big. It doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. It can be something real small. And look at it this way. How, Miss Phoenicia, what would you want somebody to do for you? What could somebody do for you that was so small that but it would make a world of difference? Like those people when I pay for Dunkin' Donuts, and what's really funny, sometimes the people behind me, they are blowing at me because I take forever. Because I'm trying to find some change to pay for your order, but they don't know that. How you think they feel when they get to the window? I mean, I don't do it for that reason, but how do you think they feel when they realize, oh, she just paid for my order? You know what I mean? So those are ways that we can do it. And then find ways to reflect and just repeat it. Just repeat. If you miss a day, do it again. And when you're at the stoplight, this is a real easy way to appreciate and find gratitude. When you are at a stoplight, every time you get to a stoplight, you can just take that moment to find something to be grateful for. Lord, I'm so thankful this car started. Lord, I'm so thankful for this heat. It's cold outside. Lord, I'm so thankful I got headlights. It's dark outside. Lord, I'm so thankful that my kids made a home. Whatever it is. But you see how simple that is? I'm not saying anything. If you stop and go to lunch, right? Sometimes it takes a smile. Sometimes it is a smile. It is. It doesn't take a lot. So, and that's going to lead us into our exercise. Did everybody bring their mirrors today? Or if you didn't, that's fine. Look, we're going to do 2 exercises before we leave. So the first one is, I got my phone as my mirror. So the exercise that we're going to do today is going to be, we're just going to do this exercise, right? And normally you would be taking the deep breath. Just smile. Thank you, Nikki. Normally you would be doing like deep breaths or whatever it is, but you can write this down or replay the video or share it or whatever whenever you can. But these are just some things that, and if you guys don't listen to Love McPherson, she's my therapist, but she is a therapist that, if you guys watch Atlanta Housewives, she is a therapist that was on there for the Atlanta Housewives. But follow her page. She did a show. I sent the link to some of y'all. She did a show on Past the Trauma on Saturday. It was so good. But if you don't follow Love McPherson, follow her. She is like the best. But I'm just going to do this exercise, but I just thought about her when I did this. So if you have your mirror or if you don't, but I said love because she talked to us the other day about affirmations taking at least 15 seconds to, penetrate in your brain, because she talked about how people do affirmations and they wonder why they don't work immediately. So she talked about it being 15 seconds where you have to repeat. I learned a lot from her too. So we're going to do some affirmations today, and then I have one more thing that we're going to do, and then we'll be done for today. So if you have your mirror, this is my mirror because I got my phone. So this will be followed by deep breaths, but that'll take a long time. So just normally before you do this, just take a deep breath. So the first one you're going to say, if this applies to you, if it doesn't apply to you, then don't do it. So the first one you're going to say is, I choose to be happy. My trauma doesn't define me. I'm grateful for my life. I forgive myself. I love myself. The generational curses end with me. And we're going to repeat them. I choose to be happy. My trauma doesn't define me. I am grateful for my life. I forgive myself. I love myself. Generational curses end with me. All right. So those are just some things that I wrote down. You can write down whatever you want and just repeat them over and over again and see how you feel. These are also some things that you can say at the stoplight or while you're waiting on your fast food or whatever it is. All right. So another thing that I thought about, that I want all of us to take this pledge, because sometimes we have family members or we have friends and we don't necessarily know how to help them. I wish that somebody would have, well, I take that back, because everybody did listen to me. I made a choice. But I think sometimes it was very uncomfortable for them because they didn't necessarily know what to do. And I have to be honest, my girlfriends went to bat for me every single day. Literally. But for some people, they don't know what to say or what to do. So I found this and I wanted us to kind of think about it. And you can replay it to get the words of it. But if you ever encounter somebody that's going through trauma or any type of experience and you don't necessarily know what to say, I want you guys to take this pledge on what you will say to them or know how to respond to them. So I'm going to read it. And you guys can repeat after me if you want to. If not, replay this and write this down. But if you think that somebody's suffering from domestic violence, trauma, grief, loss, or whatever it is related to trauma, just listen to this. All right. So I titled it Trauma Thanksgiving Pledge. You can do whatever, you can title it however you want, but just listen to it, because it'll help you be able to talk to somebody that has experienced some type of trauma, so you'll know what to say. It says, if I hear or suspect such a thing, I will not turn my back. I will listen. I will breathe. I will be desperately uncomfortable if need be, because the person speaking to me has surely experienced worse. I will not make the survivor take on the burden of the situation from here out. I will ask what they need. I will try to imagine that it could have been me. In fact, statistically, it could have, and remember that the person in front of me is not at fault. So think about that. So whenever somebody comes to you, or if you think they're dealing with trauma or whatever, write this down or just kind of think about it. And some of the things that maybe you should not say if somebody comes to you is, are you sure you're being abused? I don't want to hear about that. Or you need to move on. Like, don't dismiss them. That's when people become depressed, suicidal, because they have nobody to listen to. And they'll go right back to the abuser because they have nobody. So instead of saying those things, take the pledge to help them. Take the pledge to help them. And now I'm not saying go put yourself in that kind of situation, but try to get them some resources. Try to get them to the support places, like, try to get them some help. But don't just leave them out there, because then they'll end up re-traumatizing. You'll be in a situation where, we just don't know. So take the pledge to just try to help somebody. Seasonal affective disorder is real. People are losing loved ones. I mean, when we talked last Monday we had lost 3 people. If you guys have watched the news, how many people have we lost this week? So this stuff is really real. So make sure you guys share the videos, tag some people even after the fact. And I'll see you guys next week. Make sure I apologize about my plug coming out for the first half of the video, but I'll open it up if anybody have any questions or anything like that. For now, I'll stay on for a few minutes. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for logging on. But that's all I have for tonight, unless anybody have any questions. Just let me know. Queen 305. Anybody? All right. Thank you guys for joining. Shakita, Miss Candy, Miss Nikki D, Miss Phoenicia, Miss Adrian. Miss Angela. All right. Miss Stacy, Keisha, Miss Queenie. All right. Thank you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much. I'm hanging. How do I get out? Good night.